Let's talk about creating your skills roadmap. Now, again, this is one of those topics where I am invariably seeing initially, many individuals going, "Oh, in comes eye roll. No, I don't need that. I'm not doing that." Or, "Yes, I'll definitely do that." Right now, what I mean by this is looking down at what your degree is offering you. So you'll have a list, okay, of the curriculum, and then looking to see where you can exercise that theoretical experience in your work environment. Now, look, in some cases that's not possible. In some cases that will be very difficult. Fair enough, right? But I think you get what I mean here by saying, look, these are the theoretical things that you're learning. Can you try and look for opportunities to experience those theoretical ones in reality? Now, one of the reasons we want to do that is because it's often very different, right? The business guru says do it this way. The company does it opposite. So that's actually quite useful. But when we're talking skills, we are talking everything like your ability to present, your ability to research, your ability to look for information, process it and present it, your ability to think about what your audience is going to want to see, your ability to ask questions of that audience, your ability to take direction from those audiences, senior executives, line managers, whatever, and then ask constructive questions and then deliver a product or an outcome that the line manager, for example, just says thank you and can immediately use. They don't have to go thank you. Oh, change this, right? Now, a skills roadmap, it might be as simply as saying, look, I need to improve my presentation skills, or I need to get presentation skills. I need to get good at stakeholder management. Okay, stakeholder management being the ability to interact with those around you. When your line manager says, can I have that thing on Friday or by Friday? Are you self-organizing so that by Friday you give your line manager the outcome? Now, remember, you don't want to be giving them the draft on Friday, okay, because they're not your teacher, right? They're paying you and expecting an outcome. You probably want to be doing a draft on Wednesday and saying, is this looking good? And you have them go, yeah. Or, oh, no, change that, right? Or you're asking questions and you are looking at previous versions of the document. You are researching using the corporate data, the existing corporate data, to make sure you understand what you've just been asked, etc., etc. You may ask a team colleague, you may get some advice from some people so that your outcome, your delivery is great. So these are the kinds of things that you are going to be required to do. Now, with a skills roadmap, what we want to be doing ideally is saying, look, these are the skills I want to develop. These are the skills that I am required to have. And what's the gap? Is there a gap? Or actually, am I okay? Where do we find those skills? Now, I was thinking of actually writing down a whole list of skills to help you. Then I'm then thinking, well, wait a minute. Every role is slightly different. So here's my recipe. Go on to your company careers section, public careers, or internal as well, and look for a role that you would be aiming for in 3-4 years, whenever your program finishes. And you can aspire as well. Okay, so it doesn't have to be an ultra junior one. Aspire, right? Because you're going to be, I'm assuming, for example, let's presume you've just started your DA and you're year 1. Well, okay, year 4, where are you going to be? Okay, actually very experienced, right? 4 years of experience. Okay, so go and find a role. Go and find a role today, and not just one, by the way, a couple, and find some speculative roles that you could do in this company. Humor me, you may want to leave after your DA, okay? But just play the game, okay? Have a look at the career section, click on the job spec for a job that you think is reasonable, that you could get. And don't worry about stretching. And in fact, I would encourage you to stretch, okay? So look for something that with a fair wind, you could get, right? Have a look at all of the detail, right? Have a look at all of the detail. Look, sit down, analyze. What does it say? What does the job description say? What are the requirements? What are the expectations? What are the nice to haves? Okay? This is your roadmap, for example. Now, look, if you want to challenge yourself, go and look for a competitor. Go and look for a completely different company, or go and look for the company you're really aspiring to. Just assuming it's not the one where you're currently working, right? Do the same. Do the same. Find a role. And what you'll see is, again, a whole load of requirements. Some of them will be explicit, right? You must have this many years of line management. You must have a PMP, project management qualification, right? Some of them will be explicit. Others there'll be a lot of implied. So when they're saying we're expecting you to have 5 years experience or X years experience of this industry, in that will be a lot of implied things, maybe not defined. Now, that's your roadmap. That's a roadmap. Now, you might want to add to that. You might want to say, well, yes, as well as this, I want that, I want this. But it's a good place to start, right? So that you can be mapping where you are now and where you need to be. Don't worry if it looks a little bit weird, if it looks quite strange. Remember, 4 years, long time, you are going to be developing massively, right? So have a look and create your roadmap. Now you've got your roadmap. Now, look, I know this is eye roll territory. Eye roll territory, I know. Because I'm working through it with some, in a one-to-one process. I do think it's worthwhile. I think it's worthwhile you taking control. A lot of the disconnect I see is between the satisfaction and assumption that the DA student, for lack of a better word, or employee feels, and then the assumptions that everybody else is thinking or feeling. And again, it comes down to you taking charge. You must take charge. You have to take charge. That is the university, the company, it's not their responsibility, right? They have a duty, a set of responsibilities, but it doesn't mean running your career, okay? It doesn't mean telling you what to do. You need to do that. They will have hoops you need to jump through and meet and so on and so on. That's fine, but you take control. So this is you taking control. If that job spec is not where you want to go, well, okay, that's fine. What is then? What is, right? And then factor back. So that's a target. Where are we going? What do you need to improve? This, by the way, is something that you can take and sit with your mentors, right, from all the different areas, university, company, etc. And you can be saying, look, here's what I'm thinking. Now, it's deeply impressive when you, as, for example, an 18, 19, 20-something, when you sit in front of a mentor, right, a senior or mid-level exec, and you say, well, look, here's the jobs. I've just pulled, just as an example, here's a job spec, and these are the kind of things I was thinking I probably need to work on and really develop or improve. What do you think? It looks brilliant, okay? And it engenders this wish to try and help. Because if you're sitting in front of me and you don't care, why should I? Right? Now, it also is incredibly valuable when it comes to HR. Okay, now remember, the company's not there to drive your career. No. There's a lot of assumption that that's what the company will do. No, the company will not. Right? You need to take responsibility in concert with the company. So, I'm going to talk about a whole lot of things in the next couple of chapters that will probably refer, and that, this is the basis for a lot of those further conversations. Okay, let me stop there. I think it's useful to identify those gaps, identify where you want to go, because now, across the next period of time, you can begin to say, right, let me make sure I'm fixing that. Let me make sure I'm fixing that, etc., etc. Okay, let's continue.